Hey, Danny Ray with PinnacleQuote Life Insurance Specialist. Just want to touch base with you today. It's October 3rd. And first, before we go ahead with the topic I want to speak about, I just want to have our prayers and thoughts are out to the people of Las Vegas due to this unbelievable tragedy that happened the other night. Over 50 people killed. I think it's close to 60 now, or well over 500 people that were injured. And again, our thoughts go out to the family and the relatives of those people that have died, and also the people that are still in harm's way in the hospital and recovering. All right. With that being said, I just want to talk about a very important topic when it comes to life insurance. It's diabetics. Okay, I have a lot of experience with diabetics. Me being diagnosed with pre-diabetes about a year ago, but I quickly got it under wraps and got my A1C lower to where a normal person would have it. Okay, but one time, when you are diagnosed, whether it be pre-diabetes or diabetic, whether it be type 1 or type 2, no matter if you reverse the effects of it and get it back down to where a normal person is, you'll always be considered a diabetic. Okay, you'll always be rated as a diabetic. Okay, so just keep that in mind. More times than not, Standard Plus is the best rate you can get with a diagnosis of elevated sugars, pre-diabetes, or being a diabetic. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Standard Plus, which is the third best rating class in the industry, is our preferred plus. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right. All right. So let's talk about this. All right. Obviously, the importance of life insurance when you have kids and you have, your primary breadwinner cannot be overstated. Unfortunately, for those with diabetes, okay, it can be far more difficult to get reasonable life insurance rates. Okay, without a life insurance plan, as you know, your family can be left with mass amount of debts and no financial assistance upon your death. You're the primary breadwinner. You need to protect that. That's just a responsibility as parents that everybody should do. Just a fact. Okay, people die every day. All right. So many diabetics, they worry that they won't be able to get affordable life insurance when they have diabetes. Now, we're here to tell you that's completely wrong. Okay, here at PinnacleQuote, we have a handful of carriers that that specialize in diabetes. Okay, diabetes really comes down to you. How do you take care of yourself? Okay, a lot of companies out there, they'll rate you standard to table 2. Okay, substandard rates. Okay, but again, we have carriers that will specialize in that. Probably the two best carriers out there for diabetes is probably AIG and Banner Life. AIG and Banner Life are by far very, very lenient when it comes to diabetes. They have great underwriting guidelines. Okay, but again, here at PinnacleQuote, we'll connect you with the best policy for your diabetes. Okay, and then again, it comes down to how much you take care of yourself. Okay, to be able to get your affordable rate. Now, again, how does diabetes affect your life insurance premiums? Well, again, not to reiterate, it depends on several factors. First, what kind of medical treatment are you on? Okay, are you using what kind of medication are you taking to treat your diabetes? What kind of dosages? Okay, life insurance companies take all this information in account to go ahead and give you a proper quote. Now, the best thing about PinnacleQuote, life insurance specialist, and myself, is I know all their guidelines. I know the guidelines better than the underwriters do. Okay, so I know what kind of questions to ask you. So when you submit a policy for you or an application, okay, you can be rest assured there's not going to be a bait and switch. You pretty much can take the rate to the bank, unless, of course, there's something that you didn't tell me, or there's something that they found that you didn't know about, which in that case, it's a blessing in disguise. Okay, so you're not walking around with a ticking time bomb in your pocket. So back on point, back on topic. The bottom line is the most important thing when you're getting a rate with diabetes is it controlled? Is it controlled? That's the most important thing. When you're getting rates for life insurance, you got to make sure your A1C is in check. Okay. Another thing is what age were you diagnosed? That's a very big factor. Okay. Like somebody that's 25 years old that was diagnosed, okay, is probably not going to get a better rate than somebody that, say, was diagnosed at age 45. Now, again, diabetes takes an adverse effect on your body. The longer you have it, the increases mortality rate. Okay, so if you have it, chances are somebody that gets it at 25, statistics now, okay, probably is not going to live as long as somebody that says got it at 45. Because again, it takes a lot of, it puts a lot of stress on your kidneys and other organs in your body. Now, A1C is very important too. You would tend to want to have most carriers that I would bring a diabetic to. A1C 7.0 or below, you'll qualify for the best rate as long as there's no other health issues. Your weight is still within that standard plus range, okay? And also, you don't have any elevated blood sugars that's on record in your medical records in the past. They like to see stability. That's the most important thing, okay? And again, it comes down to age. With age, okay. My mom had diabetes. My ex-wife, my son's mother, fantastic person. She has had diabetes since she was 6, stage type 1. Okay, very well managed. But that's a very tough disease to have. She can't get life insurance because she is diagnosed under the age of 16. It was type 1. She may be able to get a what's called a guaranteed issue policy once she hits 45, in some cases 50. Then she can go out and get policy and get a life insurance policy, but it's guaranteed issue. Okay, sort of like a cancer policy. All right. Now, again, diabetes and get life insurance. It's a high risk life insurance policy in the eyes of the insurance company. Okay, they're definitely going to need your medical records. It's called an APS, an attending physician statement. Okay, they will go ahead and request that. You will sign a form to let them get that. Without that, they won't cover you, so you have to do that. Any diabetes, you want life insurance, you have to. Every carrier's gonna get an APS. Okay, unless of course it's an accidental, which is another story we'll talk about. All right, I'm gonna go over a couple of lists exactly what the insurance company will ask you. Okay, to let them assess the risk. Now, again, I will ask you these questions before we submit the policy. Now, once I ask you these questions, I narrow it down to one carrier, maybe two, where I'll pretty much put them both in front of you. You make the ultimate choice as far as price and pros and cons of the policy and what options it has down the line. All right. Again, going back to the read what I just said. When were you diagnosed? Has a huge impact on your rates. Okay. What kind of medications you take? Are you taking metformin, insulin? Both. Some diabetics take both. Do you have any other health issues like high blood pressure, weight losses? Weight issues, kidney disease. Okay. Do you smoke? Smoking is by far the worst thing you can do if you're a diabetic. Okay, it's by far the worst thing. Insurance company, if you smoke and you have diabetes, your rate will double and triple. Insurance companies do not like covering people. They'll cover you, but they will literally crack you over the head with a rate. Okay, and smoking is literally a no-no when it comes to diabetes. All right, again, it's very hard to get a policy, and if you do, it's very, very, very expensive. On average, how many alcohol beverages do you consume a day? Now, as a diabetic, you're allowed to have that periodic alcohol, drink. Okay, in some cases, a glass of wine every now and then is actually healthy for you. But as far as a diabetic is concerned, alcohol is poison. It's just that's how they look at it. Okay, a lot of diabetics out there they feel they can drink and answer it with just insulin. But again, it takes a huge it has a huge negative impact on your body. Okay, do you use other drugs? Do you use illegal drugs? Okay, remember you're going to do an APS and have an exam, so they're going to have your blood and also going to have your urine, so they're going to know. Okay, your cholesterol and so forth. Current height and weight has a lot to do with it too. When you have diabetes, you tend to your body doesn't break down the sugar as well because you're insulin dependent. You're low in insulin. Okay, so you tend to gain weight. Now, usually people with diabetes are very well managed. They're in good, healthy weight, range, good build. All right. And how much did you weigh a year ago? Okay. They like to see insurance companies like to see stability. They like to see natural ranges, high blood pressure, as far as blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugars. They just like to see steady. Remember, they don't want you to die. Okay. So if you take medications, they know they're probably not going to have to write a check. All right, so just keep that in mind. Again, the more risk you are, the more money you're going to pay. Okay, I'm sure you get the picture now. While it's not really necessary, imperative that you have all this information we just spoke about, it does help speed up the process significantly. Okay, now if you like to avoid these questions and so forth, and not take an exam, then you may want to consider taking what's called a life insurance without an exam, a non-med. Okay, though likely it's a little more expensive than than traditional term policies, fully underwritten policies. Okay, because basically you don't have to take an exam, and they take your word for it in some cases. Other cases, they'll get an APS from your doctor with your medical records. Okay, now with that being said, that's pretty much on diabetes. Remember, the most important thing is A1C. All right, how old you were when you had it, your lifestyle, what you consume, height and weight. Okay, those are really the most important factors when you get in a policy for life insurance. Okay, now I wanted to briefly go over other medical problems as well. Oftentimes, it's not the diabetes that concerns the life insurance companies. Okay, it's normally other medical problems, being overweight, being a smoker, having family history. Okay, poor health. Okay, that's what makes life insurance companies more hesitant to give you a better rate. Now, if you have diabetes, pulmonary disease, heart disease, obesity, or cancer, it's important that you compare several rates, okay, with insurance companies, okay? That's where we come in, okay? Again, we will go in by literally clicking a button. We're going to know who the best rate's going to be, okay? Because again, we know we're experts in underwriting, okay? You can exhaust yourself and go to 12 different companies, have 12 different agents calling you with the same prices, promising you one thing, and then delivering on something else. I'd rather tell you what the worst case scenario is, okay, and be right, and then get a better rate for you, then you think I'm your hero. Okay, so I'd rather go ahead and undersell you as far as getting you a range price and then come back with the best one. Okay, because again, it solidifies our relationship. Now, going back to a non-medical exam, life insurance, I'm want to reiterate a little bit on that, touch on that a little bit, but again, we'll have another video strictly about non-meds. Okay, it's a solid option to have. Okay, or as far as that's concerned, if you're having trouble getting life insurance that requires a medical exam, okay, like having diabetes. Okay, it should be noted that these plans are likely more expensive. Now, again, if you're healthy, I have non-meds out there that are very competitively priced within a couple of bucks of a fully underwritten policy. Some clients just like to take the exam. Some clients don't. So I have Foresters. It's fantastic when it comes to non-medical exams. Okay, because of the fact of they give you up to $400,000 non-med, and if you're up to 80 years old, they give you up to 150 with a non-med if you're healthy, which is that's unheard of. I get SBLI up to $500,000 with a non-med, and American National and NICO, they'll give you pretty much up to $1 million with just an APS. Okay, now again, before you're applying for any kind of life insurance, I go over questions with you. Very important, health and lifestyle questions. That allows me to isolate and separate the fakers from the makers and isolate the one carrier that in fact will give you the best rate over everyone else. Okay, I am very transparent. I always lay it down on the line for you. You make the choice. I'm just going to give you the best rate with the best carrier, and then the rest is up to you. Okay, when I do apply, I do what's called a drop ticket. We don't deal with agencies, processing centers. Before you get off the phone with me, your application will be with the underwriter. Okay, and then they give you a call to do an interview. And again, ask the same questions I just reiterated and asked you. Okay, all right. So what I recommend you do to always get a best rate out there is exercise regularly, keep your body healthy, eat healthy, cut down on bad habits. Okay, don't smoke, quit smoking if you can. Okay, and this will have a huge impact on your life insurance prices. Okay, however, working on your personal health isn't the only thing that you need to do to get the most affordable life insurance with diabetes. You hire PinnacleQuote, okay, they do that for you, not you, but you work with us. We can set you up with the best possible life insurance companies, like I said. I mean, AIG and Banner Life to me is probably the best companies to when you have diabetes to go to. I've been doing this 25 years. Okay, there's probably 5 I'd ever go to. If you have diabetes, there's only 3 or 4 that I would go bring you to because the rest is going to scrutinize. They don't have leading diabetes, and the underwriting can take quite a while. Okay, and so again, you come to us. We already know the guidelines of the companies that's going to be right for you. Okay, now if you ever have a question on how much life insurance you need, again, I explained it in the first on the video of how I see life insurance. It's multiples of income. Okay, you got to look at your, what you're calculating your debts and so on and so forth. We can go over debts, mortgages, car payments, college tuition. All right, I like to go over income because your income is what provides that for everybody. Okay, so it's multiple of income. I make it real simple. Okay, we can go over everything. So normally, to reiterate on my first video, how I see life insurance. If you have kids that are under 5 years old, you need 15 to 20 times your income. Okay. Again, we can also talk about layered policies, which is another topic I'll get into. okay, which is most cost effective. You get more coverage for less price. And as you get older, you're not paying for something you don't need anymore. Throwing money out the window. All right, so if you know ages 8 to 10, you need about 10 to 15 times your income. Okay, when kids are 12 to 15 years old, you need about 5 to 10 times your income. You want to make sure that you properly protect your family until they're actually throwing the cap and gown up in the air. And you'll see me say that quite often because that's the goal, okay? For them to be responsible adults, not really depending on mom and dad anymore, okay? And also us graduating parenthood, all right? Also, with that said, if your kids are all grown, you got 10 years away from retirement, you probably need anywhere between 5 or 10 times your income to take care of the spouse if you have a spouse that takes care of you or is a homemaker. Okay, homemakers are very important. If all the duties they did over the years was added up, they'd be making about $250,000 a year for what they do. So their job is just as important, if not more important, than the primary breadwinners. Okay, so you want to make sure that God, if you were to pass away, they're taken care of. Okay, so just to reiterate some topics that we covered in last videos. But again, this is Danny Ray with PinnacleQuote Life Insurance Specialist. If you have any questions, feel free to visit us at the web at www.pinnaclequote.com. You can reach me at 855-380-3300 extension 2. And if you ever have any questions and you want to talk, you can always go to the website as well and just request an appointment. You can pretty much go right into my scheduling booklet and pick appointments. Or you can go to the chat box at the bottom of the page and request a chat, and I'm here for you. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. And you guys be safe and make it a great day. All right, bye.